Welcome to Salt, Sage and Stardust, the podcast where spirit meets real life and intuition leads the way. Every episode, your hosts, Dr. Vicki Haspels and Keryn Rose, dive into the energy of what's shifting in the cosmos, in the collective, and within ourselves.
Hello, Keryn, and welcome to Salt, Sage and Stardust. How are you today?
Not that before I did. I'm doing well, thank you, my love. I'm doing very well. Very well indeed. So, how has your week been? In 5 words or less, how's your week?
Busy.
Well, there you go. That could have summed it up.
Catch up busy. Yeah.
Cool.
What about yourself? How's your week been?
She pauses, thinking. It's funny because I'm going to say to you, well, my week's only just begun because today, in the physical world, it's Tuesday.
Yes.
It's strange that when I'm asked, how was my week, I instinctively go to Monday to Friday. And because I have not lived a week in my old way of living, I struggle because I haven't had my week yet. This is why I was struggling. And that's a point for me to go, Keryn, honey, how about you look at it to say, how's life going at the moment? Don't, welcome, again, Capricorn rising. But a week is a Monday to a Friday. And I haven't had that yet. Keryn, honey, how about you just let go of that structure? But isn't it, is it strange?
It is.
I've lived a few years and I'm learning to unlearn life, to let go of the structures that no longer, and all of that stuff that you and I typically are talking about or leaning into with our conversation. And that probably is a good segue into today's topic of conversation that we've decided on, as in basically embodying life, as in individual. I embody my life. You're being invited to embody your life. We're inviting the listeners to embody their life. Another way of looking at it is walk the talk. So I can hear you saying, Keryn, how's your week? And I'm going through that old function of, I haven't had a week yet. And Keryn, yes, you have. How about you? Just all of that thought process. And then for me not to get frustrated with myself and pissed off at myself because I need to answer. And then I'd say, but Keryn, why do you need to answer? You're allowed to sit there and think through this and go, that's not an easy one, Vicki. And I'm going, oh my God, Keryn, really? Does life have
And
to be
all of that happen? It all happens in a millisecond, Keryn. And you have just perfectly demonstrated how you can, you didn't blithely say, oh, I haven't had my week yet. You actually caught yourself and thought, this is actually a learning moment for me.
How can I get out there in the big wide world?
Yes, in real time.
Yes. Ooh, what I'm learning about myself and sharing the learning with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
That is what life is making, in my opinion, each one of us do. We can't, for me, I could say, what a strange question to ask, as in, how's your week? When I haven't had a week yet. It's kind of like, how's your dinner, Keryn? But I haven't had dinner yet. I had it last night. That's the way my mind works. That's the way I have worked. Keryn, is there another way? And I go, and I know there's so much more out there. So much more out there. And I'm on a mission to incorporate that wonderment and that awe into my moment-to-moment living.
100%. Yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, what about you?
I'm fascinated watching you unpack this as you go.
You're seeing me do it.
Well, exactly. And it's not a foreign country for me to watch because I do that as well. And I want to just add to that. While you're doing that, there must be some part of you that has either already changed the way that you think or that you are ready for that change or ready for that shift. And that's why you paused about how has your week been and why you're now reflecting on what that means for you, because something has already changed. And so that the way that you have thought, you realize in that moment doesn't quite suit you anymore. And
Just doesn't
the
work.
exact and moving forward, it's a foreign country. I know I'm talking about foreign countries, and but I'm going to keep going with that analogy. It is somewhere that we haven't visited yet, and so we are making our way. What does it mean to embody this new way of thinking that we know suits us better? Or I want to try this out. It's new territory,
It
and
is new territory.
yeah,
And
we must take our time.
I'm going to throw into the language perspective when we talk
Mm,
about countries and territories. We're looking at the physical world we live in.
mm,
And I was part of a phenomenal class this morning, and I was reminded that as soon as we call something out, we are shutting out every other possibility. So when we decide, the word CIDE is to kill off. So when we decide, when we make the decision, we've
yeah.
turned off the lights on all other potential realities. So it's inviting me, and I know that I have been on this process for a while, to throw away all labels, to throw away all descriptions that collapse, using a quantum physics perspective, collapse everything else
Mm-hmm.
and turns the wave into the particle, and it's suddenly, and that's all we have. And yet we live in a world that is everything
Yeah.
at the same time. So when I'm talking to my daughter, I refer to her as wearing a hat of a mother, wearing a hat of a teacher, wearing a hat of a wife. So it's something that she can take off. Whereas I'm not saying your mother, I know that she is, but in her thought process, I'm wondering if in that moment she's shutting out everything else because she
Mm.
says, I'm a mother. And I go, well, it's a role you're playing amongst so many other roles. Is it a
Yeah.
coat that we keep wearing?
Yeah.
It's, oh, I got to a point where I used to get annoyed that I was referred to as a wife because within me I'm going, I'm so much more. Now, was that pushing buttons within me? Probably,
Yeah.
but it pigeonholed me. And again, that was the world you and I grew up in. This
And
is what you
yeah,
were.
yeah. I was going to say, Karen, on that note, there would have been a time where being called a wife was not at the front of your mind. You just went with it. But there would have been a point where you realized that that wasn't you anymore. And that was that point where you shut the door. And then it became
Sadly, it
annoying.
happened very early on in the marriage
Yeah, yeah,
because a
yeah.
gorgeous girlfriend of mine that's no longer here in our physical world reminded me that I took on my husband's last name,
Mm.
and that comes from the rules that women were chattels. They were
Yeah.
objects that belonged to, and oh my goodness, did that just fire me up inside? And I'm thinking, what have I done? But because I did not question
Yeah.
taking on my husband's name, it was kind of,
Mm.
I was going to wear it as a badge of honor. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
Yeah.
OMG. However, it was part of who I was and
Yeah.
absolutely part of all the learning. I get all that now. So
Mm.
now I get this joy of Keryn, be careful how you call things out because I want to keep everything possible still
Yeah.
aligned
Yeah.
within what I'm
Yeah.
doing. And I'm learning on a day to day basis to embody that.
Yeah. I I do see it as that we embody the thing that we were before. We just walk it normally.
It
Then
becomes part of who we are.
we don't even question it. We don't even know that we're questioning it, and then something clicks or shifts when we shut the door. Decide, shut the door, and we might shut the door, but we're still living that old way of thinking, and that's why when it becomes uncomfortable. we start to question, much like you did at the top of this podcast about how that week, what that means to say that to you. And so from that moment, because it's not mapped out just yet, what that means to us, we must struggle with, we must sort of wrestle with it a little bit and pull it apart and tumble it. And if I'm not a wife and I used to be a wife, what does that mean moving? We try to replace it. We try to uh, pick something else. But what we do is we try different things on until we embody what it was that we already decided. Sometimes when we decide something, we don't quite understand or know the deeper decision that we made. And it's through life and living things and bumping into things that we understand, well, okay, that's why I chose that. This is why I decided to shift from this over to here. That's why it doesn't work for me anymore. But I think we have to bump into things and wrestle it out until it makes sense again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And please, for all the listeners out there, I was very happily married for a very long time.
Yeah, yeah,
But it was this label that being a
yeah.
wife, and again, I was very much reflecting the beliefs, particularly of my father, but society growing up. Because
Mm,
as soon as you were a wife, the kitchen was your place.
yeah.
Producing children was the action that you were there to do. To have food on the table at a certain time, to keep the house clean. These were the duties of a wife. And I'm thinking, well, I now live with myself and I wear all the hats. And if I don't like a hat, I can throw it off for the day. It's that understanding that I have the freedom to make choices. And
Yeah.
unbeknownst to me, when I stepped in to be a wife, I was stepping into a space that had I'd been programmed very
Mm,
much to fit into. It's like I wasn't thinking I was doing what I thought was expected of me.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, we're going to come back to embodying life. Everybody, I believe, at the moment is being invited to look at themselves and go, what is it that you want? If
Mm,
we talk about walking the talk, what are your values? What does matter to you? Because when we connect with that part of us, our light is shining so bright
it's
and the
yeah.
world is such a better place because we are at peace at some level with some part of who we are.
Yeah.
And that is so exciting for me.
Yeah. No. Life becomes easier when you embrace those values, when you embody who you are. And on as you were talking, I was reflecting on sharing with the listeners what it feels like to, I guess, the shifts and changes that happen within to help us to live those values or walk that talk, that like to walk our talk and to be the embodiment of who we are, to uncover those values. What does it actually mean? What are my values? And oftentimes the only clue that we have that something has changed is life becomes uncomfortable. And that is the first step on that journey of self-discovery, that something has shifted. I've shut that door. I've decided that that's not who I am anymore. And the way forward, it always, I believe, starts with discontent. Something has changed and I don't like the way that things are happening. I want something different. And so being okay with that discontent inside means that you are embodying the thing that is growing up from inside so that you can see it like it becomes clearer for you. I think I lost my train of thought there. I'll pass it across to you about what you think. What are your signs when it comes to knowing that something has shifted for you? What
Well,
do
it's
you look for?
fascinating that to hear you using the word something has shifted.
Mm,
I I'm conscious when I'm not feeling. For me, it's
Yeah.
all about the feels.
Yeah.
And and for me, I'm naturally a feeling person. And if I find myself overthinking a feeling, I go,
Mhm.
that's really got you now.
It's a good
Because for
one.
me,
Yeah.
that's not a natural
Mm.
space to
Mm.
be. I'm very conscious life is to be experienced.
Yeah.
Life is not here to be lived sitting in a chair reading lots of books.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, if we come back to our three pillars of our
Yeah.
podcast, from a salt perspective, from a sage perspective, and from a stardust perspective, when we're talking about the salt part, for me, it's about that the earth
Mm.
that plays a role in our life. It's about being grounded, having that connection. So it's very much knowing how we feel and where we are literally in the moment physically.
Yeah.
Are we lying on the bed? Are we sitting in a chair? Are we walking? Are we going up an escalator?
Mm-hmm.
Being present with the physicality of where we
Physical.
are
Yeah.
immediately just brings us into that present moment
Yeah.
and has us connected with what's happening right here, right now. And I would go so far as to say, in that moment, we're in the moment.
Yeah.
It
That's
and
brilliant.
I are
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Is that embodiment? Well, it's a big word for me to use to say when I'm in the moment and that moment is a part of me, I'm walking my talk in that moment.
You're in the body. You are embodying in the body.
Mm,
And I
mm,
love that. Overthinking is definitely a big sign that something has changed inside or decision has been made or a shift has happened. And 100% agree about going to with feelings and how you feel in your body. A lot of people think um, that thinking something through is going to fix it. The mind only knows the past. It can't imagine the future, and only in our hearts can we have trust and courage enough to step into something that we only know about, but we haven't actually lived it yet. And so,
and therein lies our
yeah,
sage part of where
sage,
we are.
yes, yes,
The
yeah,
sage is that body wisdom.
yeah,
And it's, our body has the truth and holds the truth before our mind even catches up.
even knows
So,
it, yeah,
interestingly enough, when we're up in our mind space and we're doing all that analyzing based on historical data, because our brain is simply a recording mechanism.
mm-hmm.
So, when we hook into our thought process, the only data it's got, the only evidence it has, is old news, what I call old news.
Old news,
Whereas our heart is linked into unlimited potentiality. It is connected into the past that our brain has access to. It also knows what lies ahead and all the potential realities,
yeah,
depending on what paths we take, because we have free will. So the idea of walking our talk, it doesn't mean that it's perfect. What it means is that we're aware, we're being honest with who we are, and we're being real with who we are.
mm-hmm. It's so important. Oh, Karen, you've hit such a good point. There's no The only way that we can embody that and work with the sage part of who we are is to take that next step and that next step. See what happens. We work it out as we go. That's why the mind can't envision what that is. And every time we take that step, we try something, our feelings will show us, okay, yes, this is good, or no, that's not quite the way to go. And so, just to so I'll circle back as in the salt part when we are in our body, feeling every moment, allows us to then strongly connect to the sage part, which are our feelings. We can't just jump to the sage. Like you mentioned, it's to know your body first and its reactions because it will tell you yes or no.
Absolutely.
to be able to trust. Yeah.
It's, I mean, as human beings, when we come in with this beautiful heart that is connected to the universe.
Yeah.
You know, the ability for children. My gorgeous daughter recently sent me a little story about a young child that was talking to its mother and saying, you know, I don't like my face, I want my other face. And the mother was going, excuse me. And this little child was, he said, well, the face I had before I came here. And the mother's kind of going, what? And he was reliving his experience, what in my language is back in spirit,
Yep.
before he materialized. And he
Yeah.
said, and he went through. He said, I saw you when you met daddy, my daddy. He said, I didn't like the first daddies. And of course, this lady had had previous relationship. He said, and I like that. I like my daddy. I said, and I like his hair. I'm sorry, his head. And he's a bald man. And of course, this boy was envisaging back in spirit almost, in inverted commas, alien like features, you know. And I just got chills. Number one, my daughter had sent it to me, and I thought, oh, I like that. And number two, I'm thinking, I hear, so here, in inverted commas, I see on social media, and I certainly have read many stories of little ones. And then, not long after sharing the story with his mother, the child forgot that he'd even shared the story. He could not recount the story, but he had shared his wisdom with his parents, which get his parents going, that's interesting. And they either do something with it or they don't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
children, their brain has not recorded very much.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
their heart that is absolutely connected to everything and everyone
Everything.
that
Yeah.
is on the planet.
Yeah.
And that's, and then the physical body needs to adjust
Yeah.
because we're born and we really can't do much physically. Literally can't do much.
Yeah.
And yet,
Yeah.
so we're absorbing all of this stuff that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we get to a point where, okay, we can be conscious that our heart feels something, our head says something. What are we going to do?
Mm. Mm. I have to say, like personally, I'm going to share a story from my personal experience in that I will be very stubborn when something changes. Well, let me put it this way. I used to be very stubborn.
Well done. You're acknowledging the shift that's going on,
The
huh?
shift, yeah. And even like as I guess maybe as I've gotten older or whatever it was that's
Wiser.
changed,
You've
wiser,
gotten
let's say.
wiser.
Thank you. Um, that that thinking that, or yeah, thinking that I can overcome something that the whole of my body and soul is telling me that something's not right, that I can maintain the status quo because I'm not ready for that change just yet. And even working as a psychic and as a healer, that stubbornness stuck with me for a long time until I understood that I was actually doing myself a disservice and actually holding myself back. Something again shifted and showed me that I was being held back because of my stubbornness. So it's not something like we're not perfect beings just because we know this. We're not perfect beings because we read about it, anything like that at all. What we to understand something and hear and then put it into practice, that takes the most courage to actually say,
Really
okay, I'm
does.
going to give this a go. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I can remember just quickly that I was going to mention was that an ex, sorry, I was going to say that an ex challenged me. This is probably the biggest example that I've got. Number one, relationships or anyone that you interact with that challenges you, best teachers, best way of getting you out of that thinking space. They challenged me and said, well, you're telling me all this stuff. about spirit and energy and everything like that, I don't believe you. And I thought, what? I was speaking wisdom. Hello, hang on. What? Because, I'd read all this stuff and I was putting into practice. I was, practicing things. I was, this, and this. And that really set me back. Because what he said was true.
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
can't have that negative inverted commas response to
Yeah.
something that feels good, that everything's
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that was probably my biggest, uh, is an ex. So no longer in my life. So that's a whole other story. However, it irritated me enough to say, what? So I then started to, I didn't explore what I was talking about. I explored where I was coming from. What did I actually
There you go.
believe as I'm talking? And then I started to reflect on what effect it had. I guess what I'm saying here is that oftentimes the the understanding that we're having when we do have that discomfort or that shift can come from external sources. It's not always
Oh,
inside that all this wisdom pops out. Our relationships are the best indicator. And it can just even be the girl at the shops or the guy at the shops that says something to you. And it's like, bang,
everything.
you're right there.
Everything in our
Every,
world, because
yeah.
everything in our world is energy and everything is connected.
Yes.
We are in a relationship with everything in this world.
Yeah.
Even when we're dead, we're still in a relationship because we're decomposing in the old world. If you're going to be buried,
Yeah.
we are having a relationship with Mother Earth. We
Mm,
are in, from the moment we are conceived, from conception, we are in a relationship with the world that we are in.
yeah.
Everything. So it can be music. I can recall yesterday morning when I was down having my cup of coffee in the morning, my body was not enjoying the music that was being piped through, and the sun hadn't risen yet, and my head's going, why would you be playing such music? And another voice said, breathe, because I'm thinking they've got a playlist, and sure enough, wasn't long before some for me, nice music came on. I'm thinking, good girl, but my body bristled. I can hear a plane going over at the moment. I'm thinking, good God, I hope that the podcast doesn't pick it up. We are in relationship with everything
Everything.
that is in our world. Here we go. The dogs are going now because the plane's gone over. Um, yeah, it's just we're in a relationship with everything, whether they be human beings, whether they be
Mm,
plants, whether it be food.
yeah.
We're in a relationship with everything. But what I
Everything.
loved,
Yeah.
Vicky, about what you shared is that it finishes for me the third pillar of our podcast being the stardust bit. And it's about that soul alignment, that when your actions match your values, life is going to flow far more easily. And it's when we embody our values that we are the frequency that is natural to who we are and flows out into the world. And everybody simply feels when we
Yeah.
into the room.
Yeah. And that that is the like the rounding off or the polishing off of the whole process is that when we and sorry, oftentimes we don't even know that we have actually completed that process because we are living it and walking it and talking it. It's only upon reflection we think, hang on, I did that. I am this now. I feel really good. We have a moment. It's like we have a moment of realization. I'm getting all goosebumps talking about it, but it's such a great thing. It's it's not a doing thing. It is a being thing. You're right,
Absolutely.
Karen. Yeah.
Absolutely. And as
I-
you were talking, I was seeing
mm.
this circle of the stardust coming down through the body into Mother Earth, going back up to the stardust, coming down.
Yes.
And it's this constant
Instant flow.
connectivity to
Yes.
the wisdom that is above, the
Yep.
wisdom that is below, and where? the gorgeous magic that's in the middle, and
Yes.
just going, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
loving it, loving it, loving it.
Yep.
It's, oh, that's
And in
exciting stuff.
exactly, and in that flow, we can't map it out.
No, okay,
We
I'm going to
work
ask you, what
with
do you mean?
it.
What do you
Yeah.
mean we can't map it out?
As in, we can't say, okay, well, if I do A, B, C, and D, I'm going to get my stardust, because it's a learning curve, and because it's something to trust. Like, we get that experience, a salt experience. We get that nudge. Hang on, something's not okay. We work with our feelings. Okay, I want to align with how I feel, and we go through all that bumping into things and falling over, working it out, feeling better. We start to feel and align with it, and before we know it, we don't even know that this happened, but the magic has happened, because we realize, oh, hang on, I've actually shifted now, I've changed. But once, the thing is that when we get triggered, or when we are realizing in the salt stage, overthinking will happen. We think, I'm not going to overthink, but something will still kick in and try and control it. Okay, I know about this, I read about this, or Keryn and Vicki told me about this. I'm going to do this, this, and this to achieve this over here. So trying to control it and map it out and take charge of it is the opposite of what this is actually showing us and teaching us, because we become it,
We do become it.
we live
However,
it.
you and
Yeah.
I are here to share tools.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you are in that moment,
Yes.
okay, I'm feeling out of sorts, I'm not feeling myself.
Yeah.
Then to ask, what's my next right and perfect move? Is
Yeah.
it to go for a swim in the ocean? Is it, as you were talking, it was funny because as you were talking, had an image of a little child playing in a mud pool out in the rain.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, you've got everything there. You're being absolutely drenched with the jewels of Mother Earth, whether it be the mud, whether it be the sand, whether it be the water, and you're having fun. And it's those combinations.
Yeah.
I recently read that it's through play that we can lay down new
Yes.
pathways,
Yeah.
neural
Yeah.
pathways.
Yeah.
And again, it's coming back to that our natural state is one of
Yes.
joy.
Yeah.
How does one get that feeling of joy? Do something you like. Go have some fun.
Yeah.
If it's cooking, fine. If it's going and singing in a choir, fine. Put on some music, whatever it's going to be. It's
Yes.
knowing that when we're not feeling it, that it's not that it ain't there. That connection is simply, in my opinion, got a few wet blankets on it. So we need to
Yes.
throw off the blankets to open up that connection a
Yes.
bit.
Yeah.
You know, clean the dirty window and you'll see through it.
And when the tools that we use, because absolutely 100%, that they are there to help us stay connected to who we are while the magic happens in the back, well, in the background. We grow stronger, within us, the sage part of us begins to grow stronger while we are doing the things that bring us joy. Trying to map something out, or trying to take control and say, well, if I do this because I read this in a book, this is all going to work. I'm not saying don't try it. All I'm saying is that don't put all of your eggs into that basket. I'm saying try different things that will actually that align with who you are, because not everything is the same thing for everybody. And
No,
we
and
absolutely, yeah,
for a lot of us, we don't know what aligns until we try it.
that's exactly right. Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
do I know if I'm going to like Guinness until I try it? You know, and
you
I've
won't
tried
know.
it
No.
once, maybe twice, and no, not yet.
Yeah,
As opposed to no, it's a no, not
yeah,
yet. I'm sure that different people will make different Guinness. I don't know.
yeah,
But it's, even in my no's, as in a N-O,
yeah,
there's always a possibility. It's kind of like a no, not yet.
yeah. Yeah,
Or
it's like try everything. Don't be really dogged about it. Maybe that's because that's been my experience. Is like I've
Oh,
got it. If I did this in this way, it's going to work, and I get disappointed.
and
Yeah,
again, welcome to the age of Aquarius. We are
yeah,
all being asked to question what we've done in the past, and
yeah,
please don't expect that it's going to work now because being a betting person, I would think
yeah,
chances are no, it won't.
yeah,
Then we all are going, oh my goodness, what do I do now? And it's a case of try something different.
yeah,
And I still struggle with that, and I'm
yeah,
learning to try something different because can you? I grew up. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm not referring to myself as a dog. However, from an age perspective, thinking back in the day, a person in their 60s, number one, was old, and number two, society simply didn't expect. I mean, good God, the retirement age alone said, you haven't got anything else to offer now. Off you go and put out to pasture. That's, how I was talking to a beautiful creative soul a couple of days ago. And, bless her, she's in her early 50s. And the wisdom that she has from a creative perspective is now being challenged because the digital world is oh so new. And what does she bring to it? What has she got to offer?
mm,
And I was sitting there
mm,
going, if I have a choice of two chairs, one's an antique and one's modern, I will beeline for the antique chair. But that's
yeah,
old. Go, yes, I know. Think of the stories it could tell me as I nestle into it. It's just,
yeah,
I've never understood that age equates to what you bring to the world. I was always in for multi generational living. It made
yeah,
sense to me,
yeah,
absolutely made sense to me.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
not from my English culture. You
yeah,
don't have grandparents living in the house with you. And I'm thinking,
yeah,
brilliant. We're in a new world,
yeah,
and I'm inviting everybody. And it's not that our what we used to think or how we used to do things is wrong. It is simply there are other options now. There are other ways of doing it now.
yeah.
How about you try it? If I were to go and get milk at 10 to 9 at night, I can.
You can.
My mother couldn't. Not when we were growing up. Nope,
Mm,
shops were
mm,
shut. So you worked with powdered milk.
yep,
It's different.
yep,
And
yep,
having said that, and that's going to bring me back to what we're talking about embodying our lives.
yep,
And for a lot of people, I might think, well, really, what does that mean? I would invite everybody to sit down and look at their values, if indeed they have written a list of values in the past. I am asking you, what are your values today? Right here, right now. The world has changed so much. Chances are how you see the role of your partner, institutions, your car, you just, here in Western Australia, to have a fully electric car still does not make sense because of the vastness
the
of our
distance.
state. The
Mm,
logistics of having such a car still need to be strongly considered. But an electric car, goodness me, my grandmother was born when there were no cars.
yeah.
So it's moving. Okay, thank you, Keryn. I'm being told, Keryn, move with the times. And this
Mm,
is my invitation to myself every day, the intention of being open to all that is possible, no matter how uncomfortable I feel, Vicky.
yep, yep,
And any bit of me that feels uncomfortable is generally going to be my head.
yep,
Because it just hurts,
yep,
and
yep,
do I want to go outside? But it's exciting
yep.
to try well, I find it exciting. Do you find it exciting living
I
in
love
a
it.
world that's
Yeah,
changing so much?
I love it. I do. I really enjoy the challenge of, not sorry, the challenge, but being challenged with new things
Hmm.
because it allows me to see something in a different way. And
If
if
you're
it
open to
doesn't,
it, it sounds like you're
yeah,
open to it.
open to it. Yeah, 100%. I think that that comes from the fact that being in this, like having practiced what we're talking about, walking our talk. And don't get me wrong, it's not been an easy journey to trust myself to walk this talk. I've been beaten down many times, don't you worry.
But the
However,
learnings that you've been exposed
learning
to,
is exactly, exactly
so they're
that,
in, they become jewels, don't they?
exactly, they become jewels, exactly.
Mhm.
And I find that now when I am thinking about or embodying change, I will I will come across that, and I understand now in myself if something is for my well-being or against my well-being. There'll be a little, the feeling is different, and the to try and push into something that's against my values, oh no, no, I don't need to do that. I can't say that I don't still try and nudge it a bit past that, but I only let it go so far because I understand. I know this. Sometimes I need to know a little bit about what I'm letting go before I let it go.
The more you learn, the more you appreciate how far that
That
boundary will
that
stretch
boundary
before it
goes.
goes
Yeah.
ping or bang.
Yes.
But
And that's the thing. Yeah.
what I'm hearing from you is that
Yeah.
you don't have to do it all perfectly. You
No.
simply have to choose one place to embody
Yeah.
your truth and do
Yeah.
that more fully today.
One
And then
thing at a
when
time.
tomorrow becomes
Mm.
today, you get
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity to do
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
It's you can't get it wrong, can you?
No. And I think that on that, like on that note, is that if you try something and you know that it's not quite working for you, even if it worked for somebody else or some influencer told you that was the way to go, is that you don't self sabotage your growth by giving yourself a hard time because it didn't work for you. Be open to a different way. You will then become the trailblazer for a different message. You'll become the leader rather than the follower, the leader of your own heart.
And
And
welcome to the age of Aquarius.
of Aquarius.
Aquarians
Yeah.
are people
Mm.
that live on the edge of society. They challenge the
Yeah.
norm. It's
Yeah.
it's yeah. It's thank you to all the planets that are doing their bit to help
Yeah.
us. But everything that we have ever known has been thrown into the cocktail
Yeah. And
container, shaken and
yeah.
stirred and
Yeah.
thrown out to a glass and say, now what are you going to do with it? And you just got to
And
go,
yeah.
wow,
It's so important these days to be able to think critically about what's being placed in front of us. There's a lot of things that are designed to like make you angry, designed to make you feel sad or a particular way. A lot of things are designed to hijack your mind and hijack your brain.
absolutely.
And
And
so
it's,
by sorry,
go on.
I was going to say by knowing and embodying that part of yourself, you might get a little bit caught up or not, but at least you're walking your own talk and
Yes,
you can critically know for yourself the right way for you. And so you're not getting caught up in this tide of anger and manufactured rage and manufactured whatever BS that's going on or that can happen. So
absolutely.
yeah,
It's,
that's the payoff.
we're being invited to practice discernment as
Discernment.
opposed to
Mm,
skepticism.
yes. Good.
Discernment has us, in my opinion, we're still open to possibilities. Skepticism tends to be more narrow and more
Mm,
focused and has more of has less light in it for me,
yeah.
skepticism. But discernment is thinking, I feel that the power stick I'm still holding, and I'm thinking, okay, to acknowledge what has worked for me in the past, will it can still work for me now?
Mm,
And just because it's worked in the past doesn't mean it necessarily is going to work for me now. However, it is a good start. we know that to be so. But
Yeah.
again, to be open to,
Mm.
when that happened, shops weren't open at that time of night. So
Yeah.
what am I going to do now? It's forever being gentle with ourselves and embracing all of the learning that we've had. I sit here in front of you now at almost 63, the product of everything that has ever happened because I've made decisions. And it's
Yeah.
not about what the world has done, it's about how I've managed my
Mm.
life.
Yeah.
And it simply is who I am. And if I were to give myself a hard time, oh goodness me, Keryn, life just doesn't need that. It's a case of what's next.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of like my grandies see me coming down the corridor and go, "Oh, Nana Kate, what have you brought for us today?" Because silly Nana Kate tends to take a little bit of something special in her bag. And it's, "Oh, what have you got today?" And to wake up to the world and go, "Oh, what have you got for me today?"
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
that childlike excitement,
Yeah.
knowing everything carries a little bit of
Yeah.
glimmer, a little bit of that magic.
I love that. Actually, maybe that's why I saw this and it's been sticking with me. I saw something on social media the other day, like a little video of somebody. She said, to paraphrase everything, but she was talking about she doesn't like that phrase, live every day as if it's your last, because it was just a waste of time. You'd be doing all the things that would exhaust your resources, exhaust your physicality. She said, live every day as if it's your first, because every day then becomes an adventure,
There's
something
your
new.
intention.
Yes. Yeah.
The intention is what is that crucial part of
Yeah.
the magic that we
Yeah.
create.
Yeah.
It's it's just, oh,
It's,
whether
I
we
know
know
it's
it or
really
not,
stuck with me. Yeah, that's really
our
stuck with me.
our heart is connected to the heartbeat of Mother Earth.
Yeah.
Okay, so we work as one. So when
Mm.
we set an intention from that heart based perspective, it's like we wake up the magic
Yeah.
that is a part of us. And
Yeah.
suddenly there is this magical energy that, when you combine with the action, will indeed create the magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, oh. Well, look, Miss Vicky, I would like to share a little sentence with you as we bring this amazing conversation to an end, that I would like everybody to consider. When your actions echo your inner truth, your life becomes a living prayer.
Oh, I like that.
Now,
Can you
let's
say
say
that
that
again,
again.
Keryn? Can you say that again?
When your actions echo your inner truth, your life becomes a living prayer.
Beautiful. Yep.
It is.
True.
And on that note, young lady, we can bring our wonderful conversation
Yep.
to its natural conclusion and wish everybody a intention filled day, and one that is full of gentleness for self.
And I would like to add,
Good.
make it all fun. Every day is fun. Look for the fun. Look for the adventure. It is
Oh,
those
fancy
things, those
sunny
moments
day.
of joy. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks,
Those
Vicky. All
moments
right,
of
well,
joy connect us.
sorry, say that again. I jumped
I was
in.
going to say those moments of joy connect us to that wisdom.
Absolutely. And everybody's moments of joy fill the world with moments
Fill
of
the
joy.
world.
So, for
Mm.
that, being part of the world that we're all living in, I
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And on that note, young lady, I will
Yeah.
catch you next episode.
Right. Thanks, Keryn. It's been wonderful chatting. Thank you.
See
Bye.
you. Bye.